Hello everyone, I'm Danger, and this is the Danger Yu-Gi-Oh channel. Today, we got a very special discussion for you guys, and that is a discussion on field spells. Now, field spells have become one of the most broken things in the game recently. Within the past couple of years, field spells have advanced from this card that you don't really play in your archetype because it doesn't really give you much, to a card that you play because it literally gives you anything in your deck. So, coming out of that, we need a way to stop field spells. Now, while there is the conventional hand trap method, some of us can't afford hand traps. And so, we're going to be coming down to some of the craziest ways to stop field spells in the game. So, first off is Burning Lands. Yes, here we go. Classic ancient card, guys. Burning Land is one of these old continuous spell cards, or in this case, a continuous magic card, that says no to field spells. Its effect reads as such: destroys all field magic cards on the field. In addition, both players take 500 points of direct damage during each of their respective standby phases. Now, while this may say magic card, do remember that there was a time where all spell cards were known as magic cards. A change after many years resulted in magic cards then being called spell cards. This card is actually from Pharaoh's Servant, and is one of the original Unlimited Edition versions. Now, we bring this up because it gets rid of all field spells on the field. Something very important. Unfortunately, though, it is unable to be searched, as is a very bad part of many of these cards. As well, its only real viability is of that of burn decks, where that 500 points of direct damage is very good, even if it may be hurting you. Next, we have Field Barrier. Now, Field Barrier, as its name suggests, is aptly named at probably keeping a field spell around. It is again a continuous spell card, but this time from Force of the Breaker, so we've made it to the GX era. And this card reads as such: field spell cards cannot be destroyed. Also, a new field spell card cannot be activated. You can only control one field barrier at a time. So, let's break this card down for you guys. So field spell cards cannot be destroyed. That straight up means you cannot destroy any field spell on the field. While that may seem contrary to what we're trying to do, it is the second part of the effect that we like, where it says also a new field spell card cannot be activated. That is a very good thing. That means that if you happen to go first and are not playing a deck that requires a field spell, you are able to play Field Barrier if you draw it, and stop your opponent from playing anything that includes Dragonic Diagram, that includes Trickstar Light Stage, and any other field spell that they might be playing. Decks like Goki don't play any field spells, though they don't need Field Barrier or field spell destroying cards, as they normally control the game through an extra link mechanic. But for some of you slower players like Red Eyes, Blue Eyes, or Dark Magician that are trying to get a little more competitive, here's a card for you. Or for some of you more rogue decks that are playing right now, such as World Chalice. You put out your World Chalice field spell, then you pop out your Field Barrier. Well, at least you keep your field spell around. Then finally, we have an actual field spell, and that is Closed Forest. Closed Forest is a field spell card that reads as such: all beast-type monsters you control gain 100 attack for each monster in your graveyard. Field spell cards cannot be activated while this card is face up on the field. Field spell cards cannot be activated the turn this card is destroyed. So let's break this card down for you guys. So it says, all beast monsters gain 100 attack for each monster in your graveyard. If beast monsters ever came back, this would be a pretty good card. But, again, like Field Barrier, we're ignoring the first effect and really going for the second and third one on this card. Field spell cards cannot be activated while this card is face up on the field. That is actually very good. So, if you go first and you happen to play your closed forest, as is very easy to get out, due to things like terraforming or metaverse, you're able to stop your opponent from effectively playing a field spell if their strategy requires one. As well, the turn closed forest is destroyed, another field spell card cannot be played. So if they manage to destroy your closed forest on their turn, they cannot play their field spell that turn. It also means, though, that if it gets destroyed on your turn, you cannot play another copy of Closed Forest, which is very, very dangerous sometimes, if you're playing casually. Now, while all of these cards are more towards the casual players, these next three have all three seen competitive action. So, we're going to start off with probably one of the more easier to play ones, and that is Magic Jammer. Magic Jammer is a counter trap card that reads, discard one card from your hand, negate the activation of a spell card, and destroy it. Well, on the surface, that is a very simple effect. Being that it is a counter trap, your opponent can only activate counter traps in response to this. So, they attempt to play their field spell, you play Magic Jammer, you have then negated their field spell and destroyed it. In the case of Trickstar late stage, normally if it is destroyed on activation by, say, something like Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, they still get their search. Magic Jammer says no. The next card is kind of a unique one, and that is Magic Drain. Now, Magic Drain is, again, a counter trap card and reads as such. Negate the activation of an opponent's spell card and destroy it. If your opponent can discard a spell card to negate this card's effect. Now, Magic Drain is a little easier to stop, but they have to get rid of one of their spell cards in order to stop it. There are very few strategies today that would actually benefit from this. The only deck I can see probably doing this would be something like Sky Strikers, as their ability to recur their spell cards from the graveyard is very great. As well, though, Magic Drain forces them to not only get rid of a spell card, but it also negates the activation of their spell card and destroys it. Now, my all-time favorite off of this list is another counter trap card called Curse Seal of the Forbidden Spell. This card came out of Invasion of Chaos and is very powerful. It reads, discard one spell card from your hand to negate the activation and the effect of a spell card and destroy it. Your opponent cannot activate spell cards of the same name, including the spell card that is destroyed by this card's effect, during the rest of this duel. So let's break this card down for you guys. First off, you have to discard a spell card. So this is kind of like a card that can go in Sky Strikers to counter things like Trickstars. Or if you're just running a general spell-heavy deck, such as Dark Magician. As well, it also makes it so your opponent cannot play any more cards of whatever spell cards you negate, including the one you negated. So, let's say that you hit something like Terraforming. Well, they can't play any more Terraformings. Or you hit their field spell, they lose their field spell for that game. Playing against Invoked, losing Magical Meltdown is a very big hit. The same thing with trick stars losing their light stage. So, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. We enjoyed bringing it to you guys. And we hoped that you guys would like these 6 ways to stop today's field spells. As always, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Danger, and this is the Danger Yu-Gi-Oh! Channel, signing off.